Okay, what's up? What's up? I believe this is yeah, we are live. It worked.
We're good. All right.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to like how all of this stuff works, but
Yeah.
we are live. So, what's up everybody? Welcome to Exotic Idiotics. My name's Jeff.
My name's Maddox.
And tonight we've got a very special guest with us. Josh from J&A Exotics has come over, and we've got some pretty cool things to talk about. So, yeah, I guess let's start with just telling everybody kind of who you are, what you do, because I don't know that anybody, just in case they're here and they've never seen you before, never seen your channel or whatever.
So, what's going on? I'm Josh. So basically, I have a smaller reptile channel, and I do a lot of care guides, do a lot of unboxings. Kind of like a just general pet tuber, I guess. But
Yeah.
main goal in my channel is later on, eventually in the future, I want to open up a pet shop, on my own in the future and stuff. But just to familiarize myself with the community and the people and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I got the same goals.
Yeah, I think that's
You have very good goals.
yeah, that's kind of what Maddox's thing. Oh, Reptile Verse is in here. What's up, dude? Can you see
Going
chat? Do you have the stream like pulled up so you can see chat?
I am on your thing. I didn't see the notification come yet.
Oh, yeah, it takes a long time.
Actually, it's right there. Actually, yes.
Yeah, dude, the notifications on YouTube have been weird. I want to get into that later about how YouTube has just been so drunk lately. But
It's something's been bad.
yeah, dude, it's been bizarre, man. Like YouTube has been very, very weird lately, the way things have been working. But before we get into all of that, well, I really want to know. I know you were watching the stream with us and Reptileverse actually, talking about the beginner reptile lists. And that's kind of what started this. You were like, dude, I wish I was in that stream right now. Like, I have so much to say.
um,
So, tonight, rather than just kind of doing the same style thing where we're going through the reptile list, I want to actually, I wanted your opinion on beginner reptiles in general and kind of like, are they bad for the hobby? Or is it not necessarily are they bad for the hobby, but is it bad that there is this seemingly set group of reptiles that always get the beginner label put on them? And
yeah.
is that bad for the hobby? And I guess kind of to just add a little more into like why I'm even asking this, because it is kind of a weird question to even think about, but you think about those animals and it's like, are people buying these animals because they're called beginner pets and it's not something they necessarily want? Are these animals considered almost disposable because they're readily available and inexpensive? So people get this idea in their head like, oh, whatever, I'll buy it. It's $40. And if I don't like it, I'll just get rid of it or whatever. Like, what do you think about that?
So yeah, well, that's to start that list that you guys had last week. I just wanted to every single time something was up, I just wanted to rip it apart, and I was like, why is that there?
It's so
Um,
bad, dude. It was so bad.
and I'm surprised savannah monitors were as low on the list as they were.
Yeah, I'm
But
surprised they were on the list at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, oh yeah, absolutely. But so I know we talked before about like beginner reptiles and like if you're like an 18-year-old, right, and you're out of the house, you have your own apartment, you have a job, you can support the animal, and you've done all the research on, let's say, like an Ackie monitor, or say you wanted the Savannah monitor, but you're very passionate about it. If you've done your research, I guess, and that's gonna be your first pet, and you know what you're getting into, I guess maybe it's okay as long as like you're heavily invested into it. But I mean, like as far as like the beginner reptiles. I feel bad because, like you said, they are disposable. And every time you go into a pet shop and there's an animal that's thrown into adoption, it's always a bearded dragon that's
Hmm.
severely, like, emaciated or stuck shed, missing toes, a leopard gecko. And it's kind of sad because some people get into this idea of like, oh, it's a beginner, so it's going to be easy and it'll almost take care of itself without any research, and they buy it. And then or they do their research, and then it's like, a smaller child who wanted it but didn't know how long of a term, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Commitment it was gonna be. So
Right,
then they
right,
bring it
right.
to the pet store, and now you're stuck with now there's an animal there that's like had a pretty bad life, and there's a potential that it could not recover from its injuries or whatever happened to it. But it's kind of sad. That does happen a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that was kind of what made me start thinking about it, because I was like, how many times do you see somebody that has a reptile rescue or something like that, or any kind of animal rescue that takes reptiles, and it's like I mean, we've talked to several just within the last, I don't know, couple weeks. And it's like, oh, I get a lot of ball pythons, I get a lot of bearded dragons, I get a lot of leopard geckos, and I started realizing, I was like, yeah, because that's the stuff that's at every single pet store, and they're like, this is great for beginners, and so people almost like impulse buy them, and then they're like, oh well, I don't really like leopard geckos, or maybe they're like, I don't even really like reptiles, you know what I mean? And it's like, but
Like they thought they were gonna get like it and want it, and then they're like, oh, I've owned this thing for 3 weeks, and a bearded dragon. Oh, this thing just pooped and it smells really bad. I don't want it in
I'm
my
done.
house.
I'm done. Yeah, or it bit me. Probably not a bearded dragon, but like you get something and it bites you. But like, what are you doing? You got
So
something?
actually, recently we went to a reptile expo, and there were some people there. They run a organization called GAR. It's Georgia. Let me look at it. It is the Georgia Herpetological Association and Rescue, and they actually rescue reptiles that have a bad life, like a bearded dragon stuck in shed, or like anything basically you were just talking about, and they nurse it back to health, and then they adopt it out to somebody who can prove they can take care of it for like a cheap fee. They've actually got a tangerine albino leopard gecko on there, and I think the adoption fee is like $20, and you can ask to get the habitat full setup.
That's organizations like that are awesome.
Yeah,
They really
and
are.
it's but and I think that there are people out there that are like, oh, dude, I want to rescue. I love reptiles and I want to rescue them, and it's like they don't think about the fact that you're gonna just have a bunch of bearded dragons and ball pythons and leopard. You know what I mean? It's
That are
like,
going to be mean, more than likely, because they have a really bad background.
yeah.
We
I mean,
rescued a tegu. It was a female tegu. She was just a jerk.
yeah,
Always
she was.
tail whipping, trying to bite you.
She would strike at the front of the enclosure. If you put your hand up by the glass, she'd try to bite you through the glass. Like, she was brutal. But yeah, I mean, I see on Craigslist especially, like, all the time, like if I'm browsing through like the pets section on Craigslist, like all these people like, I'll take any unwanted reptiles, or but space is filling up fast, so like hit me up as quick as possible. And I'm just like, dude, like everybody who knows, like they know that there's value to these animals, because you see a lot of basic bearded dragons and ball pythons for sale on those local classifieds too. So I wonder if people think that they're going to start this rescue because it's like a way for them to get reptiles for free.
Maybe.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, some like young kid that's just like, oh yeah, like I like snakes. I'll take all your guys' stuff.
Yeah.
But I
That's
want to
what
know
they
what would
like.
happen to the people that are like, I'll take all your reptiles, or somebody came to them and was like, so I've got this water monitor, or something like that.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to bring you my full-grown Nile monitor. She's mean.
I'm gonna put it right in my bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think.
I do.
No,
What
go
was it?
ahead.
Really quick, if you're a beginner reptile and reptile keeper, I just want to state, go back to what I said before. If you have done no research, don't buy a savannah monitor or something. Just throwing that out there. I wasn't using that as like
I
a
don't
buy.
care if you've done
I was just
hours
like
of
making an
research.
example.
Yeah, I think the point is that they have these beginner reptiles, and
Yeah.
they call them beginner for a reason, and because they're easier to take care of, they're going to be more hardy than most.
Of course.
However, I still feel the same way about that as I do about tarantulas. Like, we did a video on like what's the best beginner tarantula, and at the end of it, Maddox is like the one that you like the most. Like,
Exactly.
dude, like. And I think that reptiles haven't gotten to that point yet. People will be like, if you've never kept a reptile before, don't buy this, like whatever this is.
Yeah. I mean, coming from me personally, I don't know, me and you have talked about it like one-on-one, but I personally really do believe if you're passionate about something and like you want that and you're gonna want it to thrive and successfully keep it, you can absolutely do that. Like, chameleons. Like people don't think like a lot of chameleons are beginner species because of their care requirements, but
Right.
I mean, it's doable. People have done it.
I
Not saying
mean,
that like if you're not ready for it, don't do it. But if you're passionate about it, like I think you can.
Oh, 91 loses says monitor lizards and tegus are not beginner friendly. Dude, I agree with that from the space aspect of it,
and
and
just get an Ackies and you'll be just fine.
maybe the diet aspect as well.
A little bit.
But like tegus can be amazing, like pet lizards, and I personally think that if you bought a tegu as your first pet lizard, compared to if you bought, I don't know, a leopard
bearded
gecko
dragon,
as your
yeah.
first lizard, the interaction that you get with a tegu and the intelligence that you see with a tegu is probably going to make you more excited about reptiles than a leopard gecko would.
The first lizard I remember having was my dad had a tegu, and that's kind of what set me off into all my reptiles, pretty much.
Did you see what Reptile Verse said? He says, I got a cobra sitting in my basement that I don't want anymore. Can you come and get it in the next 30 minutes? Thanks. Yes. Only if
yes,
it's,
you
but
take
I
it.
only take albino monocled cobras. That's it. I'm not a real rescue. I just want to get what I want.
Exactly. No, I agree with you though. 91 Ludus. If you don't like, if you're just starting in the hobby and have absolutely no idea like what a monitor is, and you go to an expo and you see a baby savannah monitor for like $30, yeah, don't buy it. It's not for you.
I
No,
don't
no,
care if you're
no.
doing hours of research on a savannah monitor. Don't buy one anyway. It's gonna bite you. It's gonna hurt, and you're
It's gonna
gonna
be
want to
bad.
get rid of it.
Okay. See, yeah, they're not beginner friendly as an impulse lizard. Yes, but
Yeah.
but nothing is.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And like, we're talking about how hardy these beginner reptiles are and how they're good for, an impulse purchase, as far as the fact is it's going to be a lot harder for somebody to kill it. But those are the ones that people get rid of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are the ones that people look at as disposable. So like, I don't think any of them are. Yeah, I know it's Alex. I just didn't know if you wanted me blasting your name out loud to everybody.
Hi, Alex.
But I think that they're all like not impulse friendly or whatever, but just for different reasons.
Yeah, it's just like buying a dog. I mean, if you're gonna buy a dog and you don't have a cage or food or nothing, and it's like I'm gonna buy a dog, it's like your dog's not gonna be, taken care of well if you just buy the dog and don't have anything planned. And I'm sure maybe
Yeah.
you could care for it, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if you buy something and you're
Anything.
not into it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you really, really want the Savannah monitor, Maddox,
Why would
and
anybody really want a savannah monitor?
dude, whatever. And somebody straight up is just like, you should in no way, shape, or form get a Savannah monitor. You should get a bearded dragon to start with, like for example. And then you go get that bearded dragon, you're gonna be like, I should have just got the Savannah monitor, like the whole time. Like what? And you can flip around which reptile it is, but that's my point. Is it's like, don't stick to those beginner lists, because you're gonna end up with something that isn't exactly what you wanted to begin with.
There's like, even if like as far as beginner list goes, like if you're looking at like everything, you'll never see dart frogs on a beginner list. And like you can keep like several species of dart frogs right off the bat. Like Leucomelas, those black and yellow ones I have.
Oh, yeah.
Dendrobates Leucomelas are super easy to care for, and everyone's perceives like these dart frogs as like super hard exotic pets to keep, but they're really not. They're very easy as long as you keep their humidity up. I mean, the hardest part about keeping them is cultivating fruit flies, but literally you boil some water, put the mix in, have your culture, and you do that once a week, and you're good. And you got to feed them and everything else, but it's
I
not
had
that hard.
somebody hit me up on Instagram asking if they could send me their Western Diamondback because they didn't want him anymore. Dude, okay, here, this is a perfect.
Give us
Okay,
that guy's like email.
thank you for the donation, by the way, buddy. I appreciate that. Or the super chat, super sticker. I don't even know what that's called. I'm like I'm such a noob on streaming on YouTube, but either way, I appreciate it. All the donations go right back into the channel at this point, especially or probably more animal related stuff rather than the channel itself, I guess. But thank you very much. This actually, so Reptileverse, did they find you because of your YouTube? I'm just curious because this would be a really good way to roll into the next thing I wanted to talk about. But that's just like crazy to me that somebody would reach out and be like, "You want my rattlesnake?" Like that is like so random, but kind of hilarious.
I honestly don't even think those are legal where I live.
No, they're not. I mean, they're not legal here.
Anything fun is illegal in Georgia.
You
Except
think
for you can go catch a copperhead.
Yeah,
Massachusetts is the same way.
Yeah,
we just
like
have Texas.
we can keep copperheads legally,
But
if
you
we catch
have to
them,
go catch it.
But you have to catch
You
them in the
can't
wild.
buy one. You have to go catch it.
Really?
Else it's illegal.
Yeah, because they consider it, I don't know, like a pest or something.
Sometimes
I
I
guess.
wonder-
Oh, and like an invasive.
But it's
Kinda?
not invasive. Well, I don't know if it's
It's not
invasive,
invasive.
or not. I mean, they've been here ever since I've lived here.
But I mean, like, sometimes I wonder if I had, let's just say, a fennec fox or something like that that's very illegal that I want very badly. Is there
They're
going to be
adorable.
a police officer that comes to my house and they'd be like, "So we're checking your house for a fox today."
Yeah.
Like, how hard would
We-
it really be to smuggle an illegal animal back into the state?
It's really hard, actually.
Oh,
So
okay.
Reptileverse says, yeah, they saw my collection on YouTube and they thought I would be the perfect person to take it. And no, they aren't legal here. He was in Pennsylvania, which is kind of a free-for-all state.
Let's go to Pennsylvania.
Maddox wants the rattlesnake. Tell him you'll take it, and we'll come
No,
get
I don't want the rattlesnake.
it. So, okay, this is actually perfect because I wanted to kind of talk about the pet tube stuff with you a little bit and
Yeah.
sort of some of the not the pressures of YouTube, but something like this. Okay, this is a perfect example is where like somebody sees you on YouTube, they see that you make videos about animals, and then they automatically assume, in this case, that you want a rattlesnake, that you know how to take care of a rattlesnake, know how to handle a rattlesnake, etc. And like this is just that one example, but have you found that happening with you? Like, do you feel like there's this pressure that like, okay, if I talk about this on YouTube and it's not 100% right about this animal, which is not even possible because in reptiles, everybody has their own opinion of how to do things. But like, do you feel that kind of pressure when you're putting content out as a pet, for all intensive purposes, a pet tuber, I guess?
I know there's definitely some sort of like I'll rewatch my stuff and I want to make sure it's like as accurate as possible. I don't want to say something like wrong and then have like a
Right.
whole community like strike hellfire down on me and be like,
Yeah.
you can't say that or whatever. But I mean, there's definitely a little bit of a pressure in a sense. You want to be as accurate as possible, I guess. And
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think that that's one of the reasons.
to your best knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm not a biologist, so there's probably things
Exactly.
I miss all the time, and I'm aware of that. That's why I tell at the end of like a lot of my care guides, I'll be like, "Don't buy something because of this video. Do your own research, or I'll write it in the description or something."
I mean, Maddox flat out said in the pet peeve video, he's like, "Here's one of my pet peeves." He's like, "Don't listen to us. Like, we're stupid. Like, we're just telling
Yeah,
you, we just
this is
telling
a
you
hobby.
like we're just telling you what we're doing and like sharing our
Yeah.
life with you. Like,
The
we're not."
majority of the time, if there is a cricket in a highly venomous, highly fast trenches enclosure, and you tap it with your finger to try and get the spider to eat, something bad's gonna happen. But he doesn't seem to care that
I
much.
do it all the time.
Yeah, he does
I do it all the time.
Poke, poke.
Yeah, I do it all
And
the time.
just because it works for us, probably not gonna work for you.
See, I can
Yeah.
handle and take care of hots, but I don't want to in my parents' house because it's too much of a liability. Well, yeah, and so like I know that you know how to handle venomous reptiles, and I know that you are going through training or have already finished the training for it. But still,
Training for that?
yeah, but
Yeah,
you
why
still
don't
don't
you
have
tell me
any
anything?
what?
Why didn't you tell me about that? I would have done that years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, you just found out. You learn something new every day.
Getting a Gila monster. Stay tuned.
But there's no venomous snakes in your videos. So, like, what did they see in your collection that made them think you were the perfect person to take their rattlesnake?
So this guy really likes to keep high temperature, high humidity, tropical snakes. I bet you this desert one would be perfect.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't know.
That
And just real quick, I apologize in advance. We went to an amusement park on Wednesday, and I like really badly lost my voice. So I
You're
haven't
good.
gotten that back yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would if someone like randomly messaged me and like, hey, I think you're a perfect, person to own my water dragon. You have emerald tree skinks. I'd still deny it. I'd probably say no because like I physically can't do it. Like I wouldn't take an animal in if I don't have room for it or something. Or
See, I've wanted a water dragon for like a year and a half at this
me
point.
too. I've been
I'm
holding off
mad.
just because of the enclosure.
They do. They need a lot of space.
I do.
Yeah.
55 gallon.
But that's like
On
bare minimum.
PetSmart.com.
That's bare minimum.
That's what PetSmart says. But
That's
I was
Petco
really
says the same
upset
thing.
because I was gonna get one from a local pet store, and they said we can get one for you, but it's gonna cost you north of $400. And I was like, I can't pay for that. And then we saw one like, I got my Euromastics instead, and then we saw one like a month later for like $40, captive bred at a good size.
I remember you guys saying that, I think,
Yeah.
in one of the streams.
Yeah. It's,
But
dude.
now I have a water monitor, which is a water dragon, but like way cooler.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like a dog.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's like a tegu, but it can climb.
Yeah, and swim. Oh, I guess Tegus can swim good. But
Yeah. We used to give our tegus baths all the time. Although,
Sure, why not?
I mean,
don't remember that.
we didn't have enough water in there for them to like swim.
yeah.
It was a
But we
pretty
did.
large fish.
We've been doing it with the water monitor. We actually we're working on. I guess I'll give everybody a little sneak peek into like what we're working on for our next video because it's still not done yet. It's been like weeks in the making. But we are doing a video on all about enrichment for
Yeah.
reptiles and how we provide enrichment for the animals. And it takes a long time to film because every time you try to do something for enrichment, it's like a 50-50 shot of whether they're actually going to care at the time. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can only get them to do so much for food. Or
Right.
Yeah.
The problem with Loki, he's too smart for that.
yeah,
He will
like
not mess around. He's like, ooh, this is new, but there's nothing I can get out of this, so meh.
yeah, I mean, he tries to
And our breed of dragon's too stupid.
I've seen the short.
yeah, dude, he's not stupid, he's lazy.
He is
he
really
doesn't
lazy.
want to chase anything.
He doesn't even bite food. He just licks it with his tongue, and he misses like 70% of the time. It's hilarious.
But the water monitor, it's like he's like, okay, well, there's food there, but like I'd rather go check this out, or I'd rather go do
Right.
this instead. Like he's not very like food driven.
He's
But
very
we put him
picky.
in the bath, and we had something floating in there that he could get on.
It was just like a Rubbermaid tub.
Yeah, we just turned it upside down so some air got trapped in there or whatever, and we put goldfish in there and just let him swim around. And
He was really thinking about eating them.
yeah, he was watching them like super closely, and he never like tried to dive bomb them. But I was like, dude, just the mental stimulation that a captive bred animal got from watching these
Yeah.
things swim around and be like, what is that?
He was thinking.
Yeah, he was like, dude, what is going on?
We just started doing that until he eats.
Animals are like even I mean they're not dumb, but leopard geckos, they kind of, to me, they seem dopey. But animals are
Oh,
so
yeah.
smart. Even leopard geckos, they are constantly like their gears are constantly turning.
Except for Pac-Man frogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got our bigger albino. We put some food in there, and we had to dig him out because he was underground, and otherwise he wouldn't know there was food in there. So we dug him out, and he kept on jumping around trying to find his food and chase after it, and he kept on flipping upside down into the little crater he was in. He did it like 6 times
Oh my God,
consecutively.
yeah.
Pac-Man frogs are very lazy.
They
They're very
are.
lazy.
They
They're
like
very
them.
dopey.
I mean, crested geckos are super derpy to watch, dude. Like the
Yeah.
way that they just jump around and whatever. Come to Maddox and Jeff and J&A, come to Aussie land with me, and I will show you the hot basics, dude. I'm so down
What's
to go
Aussie
to
land?
Australia.
Oh,
Maddox is ready.
Oh.
He was gonna sign up. He didn't even know what it was.
I love Australia.
I'll go.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude,
bro, it's
I
like
would,
the
I would
coolest
love to go to
concept.
Australia.
Get to drive around on a couch. Actually,
oh,
they
yeah.
actually make it and sell it there. It's like a couch that you can control with the joystick anymore.
What? What are you talking about?
In Australia, they make a couch with like a handle. It's like a video game. Like when you, it's like a video game. It's literally like a video game. It's like a controller, and you can drive around a literal couch.
Dude, what? That
Mhm,
like to
that's-
drive around your house?
No, you can drive around outside. It's legal.
Wow.
Australia is crazy. You can get it as a legalized motor vehicle. Somebody did it on YouTube.
Alex said that it's Austria that has that, not Australia.
Nothing is in Austria except for snow, and also not English.
Wasted time.
That's one of my friends.
Oh, okay.
I got a question for you though.
Yeah, go for
So when's the your last like actual video was Monday or Sunday?
No, it was like a week from Tuesday because we took this whole week
Well,
off for Thanksgiving.
So that okay.
that was
and
the
your next
the cons of the large reptile collection.
yeah. And your next video is gonna be this enrichment one.
We don't know yet. We're like putting all the footage together to make sure we have enough to fill up a whole video. So
So
It's a lot
so
of
like
filming.
in the downtime, like, because I know for me, I'm constantly thinking about it, because like, you know, obviously I'm trying to grow the channel, but like, and I don't want to lose followers, and I want to try to, you know, keep everyone happy. But like for you guys, is that like, does that make you kind of nervous with the gap in between and stuff?
I mean it does, which is
Maybe.
that's why we put up the community post and put the post
Yeah.
in Discord and let everybody know like, hey, this is why you're not going to get any content from us because that was kind of. I mean, I came up with the idea and I asked Maddox what he thought about it, but that was kind of my way of being like, look, I know that there's people out there that do this for a living. And
Yeah.
if we did this for a living, we would probably have 7 or 8 videos on deck that were just like ready to upload whenever we needed
Absolutely.
to. But the truth is we don't. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to sacrifice time with my family to try to stay by a schedule when I have family in town or whatever. So it was just kind of my way of being like, hey, look, this is not the be all end all. And if like you want to unsubscribe to my channel because I missed a week, like that's on you.
We took a week off this week because of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
So like,
But do I feel nervous about like when we do post a video that like everyone's gonna have forgotten about us? Like, not really, not in that short amount of time. I think if you took off like a month or 2
Yeah.
months or something, like yeah,
or,
probably.
or 8 months.
yeah, or 8 months. Yeah. But I also feel like there is a fine line between forcing out content for the sake of staying on a schedule and I guess not putting it out because you're waiting and just kind of putting it out when you have it ready.
Yeah.
And it's tough. I mean, and I understand the psychological aspect of like why you want to stay consistent because it's like if
Yeah.
your favorite show on TV is whatever on every Friday night at 8 o'clock, like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like for me, like I watch like a lot of gamers. So I watch like Ray Navarre Jr., like Bach Soup, Outer Middle Show. I don't know if you guys know or watch them. They're really good channels, but like every week they'll put something out. And the same thing, I'll tune in like every Friday because I know there's gonna be a new video or
Right.
like every. Well, I ask that though because like I was trying to be on like a 2 video a week schedule. And
Mhm.
like it was okay at first, and like it was making the channel grow faster, but then it was like if I keep doing this, I come home from work on Monday, I film all day Monday, then I start to edit, and then I finish editing the video Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday, and I start to film another video, and now it's Thursday, and I'm editing, and come
Mhm.
Friday, the whole week just went by, and it's like I spent like almost no time with my wife. And
Yeah.
and it's like it's like, and I have to take care of my animals on top of it all, and the dog, the wife, everything, and it's like, and you can't even like you're too busy, you can't even keep up like with your other hobbies like video games or whatever it may be. So it's like,
Well, and that
It-
and
It's very easy
that's
to get consumed.
it is, and I think that that's one of the things that is kind of misconceived when people see channels like this. They're just like, oh, pff, these guys like have subscribers, they're getting views, their channel's growing, and all they have to do is just be like, oh, look at my lizard. And it's like,
Yeah,
it's like, dude, if you had any idea, I mean,
it's a job.
we spent an hour and a half down here today just
Just
feeding
feeding
tarantulas
tarantulas.
and barely filmed anything because then
Oh yeah,
if you film it, it takes twice as long.
it does.
You know? It's better with two of us because like I'll be tongue feeding something if we want to try to get a good shot of it, and Maddox will film, so it's helpful. But Reptileverse chiming in, he says, "I don't have hobbies or relationships outside of Discord, so YouTube works great for me." LOL. Yeah, I understand that aspect too.
The only hobby is for me is gaming, and then not really a hobby, but a force, school.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, it's your full time job.
Yeah.
One of
But I
the
don't get
things
paid.
that's what.
I don't get paid.
I know, it's even worse. One of the things though that has been working really well for us is like I have my next 7. We have our next 7 videos. We already know what they're gonna be. I don't
Yeah.
know what order they're gonna be in. I don't know. I don't have dates next to them. I'm not putting myself to like that strict of something.
There's
but
some supplies
The
we still
grind
need
them
for
out
some of
was-
them.
yeah, but it does help because then it's like, okay, so let's film today, and then it's like, okay, let's just pick one off the list and just do it. And some of them are going to take a lot longer than others, so depending on what time, how much time we have to film, you know, that has helped a lot because there are a lot of videos in the beginning where we came home and we're like, okay, we need to upload something today. What should we film? And we literally came up with an idea, filmed it, edited it, and uploaded it in like a 4-hour span. And
And it really is a whole like completely different world. Like it's a job. And
is. It is.
you did Twitch before this, and I was doing Twitch and like a gaming YouTube. And I'll be honest, the gaming YouTube like it was almost easier because I wouldn't have to edit as much. Like it's me playing a game, I'll make a few jump cuts, go to the best parts if you need to, or play a
Right.
shorter game, and then that's your video. But
Yeah,
I like to edit a lot, and I don't know, I think it's fun, and I'm kind of starting to get better at it, like good. Um, and not like, like the greatest editor ever, but you know what I mean. But
well, dude, just when you get to a point where you're like, you know, you've edited your videos enough that you know how to go in and put a basic,
yeah,
put together a basic video of your stuff, and then you can go add different things
Yeah.
later. But yeah, I know what
just
you
to
mean.
go and like just to go in and edit a video and like film it and edit it and audio, it's a lot more work than just playing like a video game or you know what it's it's tough.
I have a couple of friends that I met through Twitch that also started a YouTube channel, and it's like it's called Smoke and Bows Barbecue. It's like a barbecue channel.
Yeah.
And I like have a group chat with him on Discord, and like I remember when we first started this group chat, I would just send them messages and be like, "Boys, YouTube is way harder than Twitch, like way more time consuming or whatever." And they
Yeah.
were like, "Yes, we are slowly discovering that as well. Like it is, it's a lot."
See, I wish I would have known how to do YouTube stuff when Titanfall 2 was like an esports game. Because I was like 6 or 7 years old, and he would be at work, and he would get like hate messages on the Xbox companion app.
From yeah,
Because you were ripping it up,
oh, dude,
destroying kids.
Yeah,
I'm so good at that
he's
game.
so good at that game. It's stupid, but yeah, I mean, and I think that streaming though, it's just different because streaming you have to have either like this just like amazing camera presence and personality, or you have to be really, really good at what you're playing. And if you can have both of those things, like that's awesome. But most people don't even have one of those things. Most gamers don't want to talk to people. And the ones that are like really social and really talkative are
Suck at
typically
games.
not that good at games because they're not super sweaty like gamer types.
Perfect
They're,
example
they're
is
out-
Ninja, the guy that always has like a different color hair. I've joined a couple of his streams, millions of viewers, doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't even thank people. I was in one of his streams. Somebody donated him $1,000. He didn't even like acknowledge it.
Didn't even notice.
No,
Yeah,
he didn't
that's
even
crazy.
notice because, dude, he's got to win. He's got that. He's got to get the victory
Right?
royale.
Because if he doesn't get the victory royale, then nobody wants to watch him.
Right. So, I mean, I get it. But I think that's kind of one of the things that I like more about this. I feel like there's more creativity involved. It's not,
Yeah, for sure.
you're not just, on Twitch, your creativity is setting up your, like, scenes and your, what are those, your panels or whatever. But, like, other than that, like, you're still just playing the game and, talking to chat.
Yeah.
But I think that YouTube kind of gives you that option. But I also sort of feel like with the animals, some of that gets taken away too, because like your content is very dependent on what you are able to capture on camera with the animals themselves. And they don't cooperate very often.
Nope.
Or
Very often is an
especially, like,
understatement.
there's been a few times like my green keel. I know you guys know this. I'll go film him eating or something. Like I even bought him like dubias or just to make some video, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna hang out in my cork round all day. I'm not coming
Our male
out today."
Persina's a
It's not today.
spaz.
yeah, ours will come in the cork round, like fortunately, but yeah, I don't know, man, dude. They're weird. They're like super weird because it's like they want to be reclusive, but ours are out in the open all the time. But they stay up on the top shelf. And I was like, I built this awesome, like, super tall enclosure, and, like, custom built it, sculpted. They don't use any
Specifically
of
so
it,
you
dude.
can climb around.
They don't climb on anything. They just,
They
like,
just
Use
sit
the
in
quick
a,
rounds.
they sit in one corner, and then when they get cold, they go to the warm corner, and then when they get too hot, they get just back and forth.
but they stay up on the top. They don't climb up and down vertically at all. Like, if I just dumped crickets in there on the floor, they'd probably
They
both be
would
dead
wait.
already.
They
Because
would
they
just wait.
they won't go down there.
No kidding. Mine likes to burrow a lot. I find that he like always burrowing, especially when it comes time to shed. He's like, I'm gonna bury myself down here. I'll come up in an hour.
That's crazy. That's how, like, different they are. And I'm sure it has something to do with the setups. And
Maybe. Mine also like
yours
it
was
was
captive
weird.
bred though too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
that could be part of it too, because ours
Yeah, it
ours
could.
were imported.
I know mine like it was weird. One day he was like a typical green keeled, and then one day he's like, "Hey, that's your arm. I'm gonna jump out." And then like ever since I kind of been like training him with food more or less. And then like I posted a video the other day of me giving him a bath. I can literally take his tail and like I wouldn't tug on it, but like if I could put pressure, he doesn't even care. It's weird, bizarre.
The only time,
He's like a puppy dog.
the only time our female has ever acknowledged me, she bit me.
No, she's getting better. You're able to reach in and like rub under her chin and stuff without her spazzing too much.
But one time she jumped on me, and I don't know if she freaked out because of me or the fact that we had our dogs out there, because they were just like jumping up at her with their mouths wide open, licking their lips. trying to
Yeah,
eat her.
my
Then she
my
latched on
arm of my
arm.
couch is like right in front of their tank. So if my cat like will jump and sit there, like every single pet I have like sits up and it just watches the cats, and they're like, I'm not doing nothing right now.
Yeah. Well, and I watched your short where it said something like puppy dog tame, like kill belly lizard, and it was like out on your arm or whatever. And I was watching that video and I was like, I dare you to grab it and see what happens though. Like it'll probably bite you so quick. I don't know.
You're like,
Maybe
I
not.
know.
I've seen people that like hold them and they're like all nestled in their hand and they're petting them
Yeah.
and they're fine, but. Yeah, I was watching
He's
that
kinda-
video and I was like, until you try to grab it off your arm and put it back in the enclosure, then it's not tame anymore.
He's pretty good. He's pretty cool.
Want to trade
The
kill
only
lizards?
if you like if I were to go to like really fast though, he wouldn't be okay with that. But just slow, gradual,
Right.
like
See, if I put my hand within 6-inch radius of the male, he just immediately tries to run away.
see you later, bud.
I don't know. And like Maddox, he's way better at that kind of stuff than I am. And I don't know if it's just like he's got a calmer energy. I mean, he obviously does. If you watch our videos, you can tell he has a calmer energy about him, but he's also like 15% of the body mass of me. So I don't know if it's a size thing But because like if I like put my hand up towards either one of the keeled belly lizards, they just threat display. They just open their mouth.
They open their mouth.
Yep, I posted that video one time where we were like spraying water into the female's mouth, and she was
Yeah.
opening her mouth, and I thought, I was like, oh man, she's so smart. No, because like if I tried to do that again and I got close to her to spray it in her mouth, she just bit it. It was just a threat posture, and I thought she was waiting for me to spray water in her mouth, but like she just
Nope.
wanted to attack it.
What a
So-
Gonna try to eat it.
Yeah, they're really interesting. They kind of make me want to try. Like, I want to get green tree monitors because I just want to see, like, because a lot of people say that they're like miniature green tree monitors, but green tree monitors seem
Whoever says that is a liar.
to be able to
Not
like
bite
people
you.
can like tame them a lot easier. Like they seem to be a lot calmer overall. Like after people have them for a while, and like we
Yeah.
haven't had ours for our keeled belly lizards very long, and obviously we have reptiles like Loki that are super time consuming. So we're not spending the kind of time with them that we are with him because
Because if he was untamed, then we've got this
Right.
5.5 foot lizard that just wants to bite
Yeah,
you. all
no,
the
you
time.
want-
We're
you
gonna
want
put you in the
low
hospital real quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna choose who I'm gonna spend a lot of time with, like it's gonna be the water monitor over the
There's
keeled
a
belly
couple
lizards.
things wrong with what you just said. A, if we got tree monitors, they'd be blue tree monitors.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
and
enough.
B, you said that very casually, and it kind of concerns me.
I haven't bought any green tree monitors.
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that
Have
hasn't
my
happened.
hopes up.
I can't wait to have space for a blue tree monitor and some emerald tree skinks soonish. Yeah, I actually really like the tree skinks.
Just get black tree skinks.
They had black. Yeah, have you seen the black tree skinks? Are they
They're
the same
cheaper,
thing?
too.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they're the same species, but I know I have seen pictures of them. Like I haven't seen them in person.
We
But
saw them at the convention last weekend.
yeah,
I mean,
don't know
one.
if
There
they're
was literally
from-
like
One,
one
but-
on one table.
they're not from the Solomon Islands, are they? As well,
Dude,
I have no idea. I haven't
It's
looked
the
into
first
them
time
at
I'd
all.
ever seen them.
Mm-hmm.
And
I never looked into them, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I saw them, and they were right next to the green ones.
I think I actually think they might be.
And they were. It was pretty cheap, right?
It was cheaper than the green ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I want to say it was like $20.
Really?
It was,
Yeah.
it was an adult too.
I
Like,
almost,
just-
I was looking at it, and I was kind of like, I do have this 12 by 12 by 20 herp coal enclosure at home that I have nothing to put in it.
You know,
That's a lychee cage.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the tree skinks, but something I did see at the expo, like this is probably like 4 years ago. Mountain horn lizards, and the guy was selling a pair for like $100, like a proven pair,
Mm-hmm.
and already bred. And now those things are going for like crazy money. And I was like, I should have got them then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when we bought the keel belly lizards, that was kind of my thought process. Is I was like, okay, this is an interesting species. I want to work with them, and they're new-ish to the hobby as far as like the captive breeding. You don't see a lot
Yeah.
of people breeding them in captivity. And so they were a proven pair also. The guy just said when they laid eggs, he didn't get them out of the cage quick enough to like
So
incubate
they-
them or whatever. So they dried up, or I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, I think if I turned their basking light off and cooled them down, that they would probably breed over the winter.
Yeah, I
But
know
I'm gonna
they're.
wait until next summer to do that.
I don't know if it's their breeding. I think they're like their winter is like very like dry. So the guy, I remember the guy telling me like he dried the whole tank out, and his plants died and stuff, and then that's how he got them to breed. And I think that's how when I looked it up, that's what it said too.
Yeah,
They have a very dry breeding season.
yeah. It said that you want it to be really hot and humid, like March, April, May, and then you want to like lower their temps and allow their cage to dry out, which is fine because we have so many bioactive setups down here. I would just move their plants over while we dried them out so that the plants didn't all die. They are a relative. They are a relative to emeralds. They're also
black
from
tree
Solomon
skinks?
Island. Yeah, they are Ammonia nigra instead of Lamprolepis.
See,
I can't. Okay. See. Okay.
So margadina.
Smargadina. Yeah, that's right. You said
Sure.
it. Good job.
I said so
Uh,
margadina. See, I've been
Emerald
playing
tree
a lot of
snakes.
Jurassic World Evolution 2. I'm pretty good with hard to pronounce names at this point.
Fluent and hard to pronounce names.
Yeah, I'm fluent and hard to pronounce
I
things.
mean, there's a dinosaur in that game. Its name is spelled like Qianzhu Saurus. I have no idea how
Oh
to
my
pronounce
gosh,
it.
forget that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no
Emerald
idea.
tree snakes though are they're pretty cool. I would recommend them if you guys do want to look into them.
Like another arboreal
Oh yeah,
lizard.
they're So I first got them like post COVID, and like literally right before COVID got like bad in the U.S. I bought them, and then they ended up like I made a care guide for them like years ago, and then after working with them for like 3 years, they're amazing. They're like super. They want to come out. They literally like jump out onto my arm every time I try to feed them or give them Pangea or something. But they're like so sociable. They're wicked smart, and you can keep them in groups.
And
So
now,
it's like
how many? You have a group of 3 or 4?
Five.
Five. You have
Five.
5 in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
we ended up adopting one.
And you can
having-
just add them to the group and they accept them. It's not like
yeah,
sugar
I kind of
gliders.
like I monitored it because it was
Yeah.
this one was a female. The toeless one was a female, so I didn't think there was gonna be like much hostility, but I still monitored it because she was a little smaller. But
Okay.
yeah, they welcomed her right in, and it was pretty cool.
awesome.
'Cause I know with some reptiles, specifically, I guess not really reptiles, but tree frogs. If you've got a group of tree frogs and you try and introduce another one, chances are they're gonna try and kill it. Like with the red eyes, I've heard.
Really?
There's a guy on YouTube.
I never actually heard that.
There's a guy on YouTube. I don't know if it actually happens a lot, but there's a guy on YouTube who has 2 of them and introduced a third one, and they had killed it within like 48 hours.
I know it's a lot with the size too. I know the females get like pretty an inch or two bigger. I know they try to eat like everything smaller than them. It's like your food.
He also
So
introduced
Yeah.
a baby to 2 adult females, which is probably
That could
Yeah,
be,
that could-
yeah, that could be what he did. Yeah, I
He's
mean,
a-
I was
he's
just
a-
curious. I was kind of
retarded.
curious because, like, I know there are a lot of animals that live communally, but it's like after they have their like kind of established group, it's like you don't really see it in reptiles as much as like mammals. Like I know
No.
like sugar gliders was like a huge ordeal when
It's a
we,
no-no.
like, tried to like add one. Actually, we added 2.
Oh yeah, we.
Because
did.
I tried to be one of those guys that was like, oh, I'll spend enough time with it, I'll just have one, and then it's like not possible
no,
unless
not at all.
you work night shift and you take it with you, and it's literally with you all night while it's awake, and even then, it's not really, in my opinion, fair to the animal. I don't think they should be allowed to be kept as pets personally, but that's just me. But yeah, when we tried to add 2 more, the 2 were not bonded with each other, so I had to get them bonded first, and then I had to get them to be accepting of the one that I had originally, and it was a thing.
It was a thing.
Yeah, but like
Oh, yeah.
after they were all bonded, when one of them died, the other 2 were dead in 2 weeks.
You know what's funny, and I know not reptiles. I don't want to drift too far off topic. My cousin had a rottweiler. He had 2 of them, and the other one died of cancer, and the other one was perfectly healthy. And then literally, like you just said, a few weeks later, they were like together since birth, and it just completely shut down and
Yeah.
died. And I really do think animals can. Something
Dude,
clicks.
They feed off that,
People
man.
don't
They
really
feed off
think
that
about it that
hardcore.
much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, really quick too, I got a question for you. What, right on your back right, maybe your back left, what tank is that? Is that Loki?
There?
Yeah.
That's a
Okay,
popcorn
okay,
machine.
so yeah, there's a popcorn machine right there.
Loki's
but then,
cage is right
but
next
then
to
the
it.
black box cage is Loki.
He keeps like, there's like a little bit of like light, like
Oh,
right
yeah,
between
yeah,
the
yeah,
chairs.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
keep seeing him pop out saying like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
He's
he-
pawing at his cage.
dude, it would be impossible for us to not socialize him because like
Can I
whenever
Yeah.
you're down here, yeah, you can grab him.
Alright.
Whenever you're down here, he's just like, you're supposed to be with me. Like, what are you?
Yeah, no, I
like,
see
why?
that.
Like, what are you doing?
He's like, hey, over here.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. We just got lucky, dude, because like I said, like he's an import, and we just got lucky.
Captive hatched import egg.
Now
Well, I mean, whatever, but
that's cool. He's already getting a lot bigger.
See, like, I can't tell. I think it's funny that you're like, dude, he's getting a lot bigger because, like, we don't really see it. Like, to me, he just still looks like such a hatchling.
Yeah.
He acts like a
Because you see him
freaking
every
hatchling.
day. So, you can just, like, sit down and let him chill. You don't have to, like, show him off. Everybody
I'm not trying
sees him.
to. Yeah.
Come here.
grab him. He's not around the computer too much, so
Yeah, he will try to, like, dive bomb the keyboard.
he's
But
done it a couple of times. Hi, can you like stop?
no, it's not. It's a water monitor. It's
He's
not.
like
It's
a
not a
fucking-
bearded dragon. It's not just gonna like sit on your shoulder.
Ugh, if only.
But yeah, we'll just let him come out for a
There we
minute
go,
because he wanted to.
He
No, he's
always
cool.
wants to.
What was it? My mind just went blank. My wife walked in, distracted me for a second.
Yeah, dude, I know how it goes.
Yeah, I really want Ackies, and like right now, so like I'm in a weird point where like I'm in an apartment and I'm starting. I know you're starting a project. I'm starting a project. Kinda. You're definitely more invested than I am.
Stop it.
And but I do have my little thing I want to like finally start getting going. But like with the apartment, it's just like I only have so much room here. Like so like once we finally like we're in the process of getting a house. Once we finally get the house, it's like I guess free range to finally do like what I really want. But Ackie monitors are definitely like up there, like to start like in the room.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was really close actually about I want to say like 5 years ago. I was really close to pulling the trigger on a pair of Ackie monitors.
Red or yellow?
These were
Or-
yellow, I think.
Yellow?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were yellow. What did it say? Oh, I need to get a property to build on so I can have some big monitors. I really want a black dragon. So, here's the thing. I really want a black dragon too.
We have this one instead.
But black dragons actually have a different, like, because the black dragon is like, I always thought it was just like a morph, but it's like a different, there's something
It's
else
different
about
locality.
it. Yeah, and they actually are like a lot more flighty and squirrely
Than, like, this little
regular
fruit
than the
cake.
regular ones are. And that was
'Cause he's not flighty at all. He'll just, we won't sit here, but he doesn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, other than like the financial side of it, that was kind of what made me, because I could have just been like, not bought a trio of crested geckos and then just got a black dragon. But
You would've got a
after we
black toad
talked
instead.
to the owner of the place where we got this guy from, he was like, unless you just really want a solid black lizard for some reason, he was like, if you want something that's going to be good with your kids and socialized, he's like, don't do it. Like, you're going to have a way easier time keeping a regular water monitor tame.
So, you know what kind of makes me crack up though? Just thinking about like expos, blizzards, monitors, everything. So you can probably get, I don't know if now monitors, but you can get monitors at expos relatively cheap as babies, right?
He bought a Nile
But
monitor
that-
for like, yeah, he paid.
I
It was
did?
like it was like $30 when he was really little, and I got mad at the
Wait,
dude for
I
selling it
did?
to him. Yeah,
I bought a knot. When did that happen?
dude, that's exactly. That's my point. He was so young, he doesn't even remember it happening. and
Wait, did we return it?
No, we
What
didn't.
happened? Wait, tell
Don't
the
worry.
story.
Just stop interrupting. Like, let him talk.
Tell the story.
So you got you get the monitor and then like, $30. And then now you have this thing for a good 10 to 15 years, but the amount of food that you're going to be throwing, like the amount of money and food you're going to be throwing, food, enclosure, lighting, all of that.
I'm putting him back.
Now you
Like,
take the geckos or whatever. You get like a lily light or something like that, a nice like heavy cream color. I don't know, a harlequin or something that you really like. The morph's very expensive, or like a really red gargoyle gecko, and you have it at the expo, and it's like $2,000, and people are like, I'm not gonna pay $2,000 for a gecko. Are you nuts?
Right.
But like, look at the cost of food. Even like, yeah, you're paying for the morph and the color, but when you like compare the food over the lifetime and the enclosure and like everything, it's
Yeah.
just the gecko is gonna pay for it. The gecko is a way better deal. It's just more initially up front if you want that specific morph.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it is. It's what's crazy is that nobody, like you said, and I think this is kind of the point you're making, is like everybody sees like it's almost like the sticker price on a car. You look at like if you look at, I don't know, like a Tesla, like because they're expensive cars, but then you don't have to buy gas for them. And it's like the same thing. People will be like, well, I'm not spending all this money on whatever the car is, but there's usually a reason why cars are more expensive. And I think reptiles it's exactly the same thing, where like people look at that initial like shock value
Yeah.
and they're like, nah, I'm not doing it. See,
And I mean-
but I would much rather have monitors than a gecko. If I run out of food, it can eat my fingers eventually.
Sacrifice myself for the better
Yeah.
of the group.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it happen. I've like seen documentaries where people kept like multiple monitors out of the cages in apartments and they got eaten by them.
Oh my god, that was I've seen that. There was a video. It was like the guy was like he wasn't returning calls for like a week and he didn't go to
Yeah,
work and like some of the cops he had like
Yeah.
7 water monitors or something.
Yeah,
and they got out
dude,
and ate
it
them.
was like some sort of animal hoarders video.
Yeah,
like, thing or
I
something.
seen that.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what
But
to
you
say.
have to name it that.
What?
It's the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen that eats fingers.
Oh yeah, you would have to name it Yuji Itadori.
That's the guy from an anime and he eats fingers, and that's like how he gains his powers. I don't know. That's just
Nom
weird.
nom. Give me some fingers.
For sure. Oh man.
But
So what? So as we're starting to kind of wrap this up, because I know it's probably getting close to like dinner time and stuff for people. What are your what do you have? Is there anything exciting you've got coming up with? Whether it could be like videos you've got planned or animal additions or whatever. Anything you want to like talk to anybody about?
so additions, I just picked up like a bunch of new ones. Not a bunch of new ones, but I got one today. It was an early Christmas gift.
You didn't even tell me.
I haven't been on.
Oh, true. I've been playing with this new
tell you-
animal.
I'll talk to you. It literally like I got on Discord and I wanted to make sure this was happening. And like we just got home. Maybe we were Black Friday shopping, so maybe 3:30, 4.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I actually have I just got a whole new rack. Setting up a bunch of totes for a lot of them are empty right now, but just preparing for the future. That's really mostly that. But starting a breeding project. You guys are doing a breeding project.
Yeah, we're starting fresh
Have
season.
some tadpoles. Tadpoles are coming in.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
coming
yeah, I
in.
saw that.
Tadpoles are growing up.
Mhm.
There was an issue with those though, unfortunately. Like the first 6 didn't make it,
Right.
which I couldn't. I reached out to like my like main source of information for dart frogs, Josh's frogs, because like that's all they do really. They branched out and done other stuff, but they started with dart frogs and fruit flies, and like that's their
I
thing.
think they might have branched out to reptiles just because, like, they've
But
got,
it's
they've
a
got
wider-
some stuff on there that people buy. Because, like, cave geckos, I haven't seen cave geckos anywhere else, and it's good money for them. But, sorry, go ahead.
They have green keels on there, captive bred.
Yeah, that's
I
where
think
I got a
everything
lot
on
of
there
my
is captive bred.
information on like how to care for them.
Yeah, I think they only sell captive bred animals. I'm not for sure, though.
Yep, I think they only sell what they produce, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I know they have a big facility, but
Oh, yeah.
I reached out to them and they're like, "Listen, you're doing everything right. This particular dart frog that had the tadpoles, Santa Isabel's, I know they're one of the tadpoles you can keep in a group throughout most of their lifetime because tadpoles are cannibalistic. So they said, yeah, I mean, you could have kept them together, but like, I know you separated them because I told them that. But that was they're like, I know you separated them, but everything else you're doing is right. We don't know what's going on, and it was weird. But then the rest of them made it, so I don't know. Maybe I caught the tadpoles too late, and they were starting to die on its back, and they were weak already, or I really don't know.
Yeah, but you weren't expecting them. This is
That
not-
either. I thought honestly, I thought I had a male and a female when I first got them, and I first got them when I first started my channel, like 2 years ago, or whatever, maybe 3, and I then thought they were both calling, so I'm like, I have 2 males, and then I looked in the enclosure, and it's like, oh, I have a female and a male because there's tadpoles on his back.
Nice. Well, but that's awesome though. I mean, you had to have been excited about it.
I was pretty stoked.
Yeah, of course. And it's
I
like
started freaking out.
there's a lot of people that breed, I don't know, crested geckos, for example, or whatever. But like you don't know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I breed dart frogs. Because I've looked into it and I'm like, dude, I'm not dealing with tadpoles and like separate enclosures and like
We
all
were
this
talking
stuff.
about doing Pac-Mans because
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I don't even know if these are real or not, but I saw it's called a two-faced Pac-Man frog, and it's got one of the sides is albino or lemon, and then the other side is just like the mint green.
listen. There's a lot of crazy morphs, so
Oh
I
yeah,
100%
I've seen
believe it.
like the
It's crazy.
black-eyed leucistic glass stomach ones. They're like solid black with black beady eyes, and then they've got like the
Let me
glass
see
frog
the-
stomachs.
That's
They're
cool.
really weird. I mean,
Yeah.
those are
You
like
can,
$4,000 for a dope.
Why don't you start off breeding Pac-Man frogs, Jeff? They only make like 200 tadpoles.
Well, that's exactly why I'm not breeding Pac-Man frogs. That's why I'm not breeding tarantulas. Because
Yeah,
it's,
that's the
you
whole
know,
thing.
I mean,
That's the whole thing too.
because I think there's three or four different species that we have multiples of. I don't know that they're male female
I mean,
because they're
we can
young,
assume.
but I mean, and people have talked to me about it, and I'm like, no. So I was more like, I'm gonna talk to breeders and be like, I've got some males. Would you like me to send them to you? Because the males only live for like
Right.
2 to 3 years. So it's like after they mature male, you're not going to have them much longer. So like
Yeah.
you might as well send them to a breeder who can get some use out of them. Because
I
like
think
I'm
we've
not
got-
going to deal with it.
You've got like 5 GBBs, and you've gotta think you've got at least one male or at least one female.
Yeah, out of the 5. Like,
But I mean, that's also what 300 spiderlings at once.
dude, I'll tell you what. If your wife lets you have a tarantula, I will send you. If you pay shipping, I will send you one of the GBBs.
I can definitely talk to her. That's something I want to do. But
Yeah,
I know
Well,
she
and
was
if-
like,
and if you're
well,
only gonna have one,
It'd have to be a GBB.
then like multiple people will tell you if you're only gonna have one, like this is the one to get.
I've got kind of
I
an
know-
odd question, but it will definitely help in you getting a GBB. Is your wife a Billie Eilish fan?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, she has one, so she's got a GBB.
I know she did say like once the house happens in the reptile room / like recording office thing happens, she's like snakes and whatever you want, spirit game. But she just like doesn't physically like as of right now, like the tailless whip scorpion was like, hey, I'm gonna get this and this is what it is and it's harmless, and she's like, fine. And then every single day she's like, I hate that thing.
Dude, that's how he feels about the centipede. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we
the
were like
centipede
feeding.
isn't harmless.
We were feeding it today, and it was just the way that it just whips its entire body around
Yeah.
so fast. He was like, "I hate this thing."
It's like, ooh, imagine if that was my finger.
Yeah, because it looks like it's gonna just like fly out of the top of the enclosure when you're
Yeah.
feeding it. It's crazy.
So like this is actually a new thing too. Tarantulas were like a big fear of mine. Spiders in general were a big fear of mine.
Yeah.
So one, when I was a kid, there was like a red spider locally here in Mass. I don't know what it's called, but I got bit by it, and I guess I had like the same reaction as I did to like bees, and it made my hand swell up, and I had to go to the hospital and whatever. And they just gave me like, I don't know, prednisone or whatever they give you for that to make the swelling go
yeah.
down. Well, come to find out, like, you know, a few months ago, I got stung by a wasp, a white-faced wasp. I'm like, yeah, you're allergic. So I don't know why I didn't get an EpiPen then. But, so that happened. And then, like, Resident Evil, like, the big tarantulas, like, in there,
Yep.
so happened. So, like, it was definitely, like, afraid of spiders up until now. And honestly, it was because of watching your stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to that and the jumping spider.
It was see
Oh, the
and
jumping
like
spiders are so cute.
yeah.
They are like
Yeah.
bulldogs.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was kind of like one of the goals when we started is I was like, you know, not necessarily specifically tarantulas, but just like a lot of the stuff that we keep. I'm like, you know, he wants to inspire more kids to get interested in it.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I want to inspire parents to like let their kids get into it. But then at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're watching a video and you're watching him do whatever with the tarantulas, like you're gonna automatically, especially as an adult, you're gonna be like, okay, if this kid is able to like do this, like I can do it. Like I can handle it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, you can. I mean, but that was kind of why I make him do everything. Because there are some channels out there where it's like the kid does a lot of the talking and they're cute and they're on camera, and then when it comes down to actually doing something with the spider, it's like the parent is doing it and the kid kind of puts their hand here on their hand, but it's really the parent doing it. And I was like, I'm not, you know, if it's something that Maddox can't do or Maddox can't handle, like we're just not doing it.
I'm a very jumpy person, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm genuinely scared of those tarantulas. When not all the time, only when I'm trying to rehouse them or something, and
I don't blame you.
it's genuinely hilarious. I am a very jumpy and flighty person, specifically with spiders.
Well,
So,
I don't blame you because one, a fall for them, like that's fatal, and two, a bite for you, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I completely get it.
Yeah, I mean, and like he said, like
I
I
haven't
will.
been bit yet.
Yeah, no, neither
Got
one
a
of us
good
have been
streak.
bitten or stung by anything that we have.
Knock on wood.
At least not any of the invertebrates.
I mean, I've been bit by that keeled lizard. I don't think you've been bitten by anything though.
Not anything that we have down here. No, I mean I got bit by snakes all the time
Well,
when I had
we
snakes,
don't have
but
those anymore. Rest in peace.
and I've been bit by water monitors and stuff in the past.
You know what's
Oh,
funny?
yeah,
I've been
yeah.
bitten by more family-friendly pets than I have reptiles. Dogs,
I was
rabbits,
like-
hamsters.
I was like 3 or 4 years old. We were at a pet store. I was holding a leopard gecko, and since I was 3 or 4, they probably shouldn't have been letting me hold it by myself with no supervision.
I was
and,
standing right there, like there was supervision.
and I
Don't
had it
shush
in
me.
my hand like this, and I went like that to cover it so it didn't jump because it was trying to jump away. And I guess I squeezed too hard, and it took off like the tip of my finger.
Dude, it was gnarly. I was like, I cannot believe a
kidding.
leopard gecko did that.
It tore off my entire finger.
There was a chunk missing from like the corner of his thumb, and it bled for like an hour.
An hour
It seemed
straight.
like it was just like, dude, why will this not stop bleeding? And it was like a baby. I mean, it was a tiny leopard
tiny little
gecko, and
leopard
it
gecko.
just took and it didn't like latch on. It just took a chunk off and like swallowed it, I guess, and just went about its day.
That's nuts.
I know.
Now it's got a taste for blood.
But yeah, speaking of beginner reptiles, go just go get a leopard gecko and squeeze it. See what happens.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
I know, not really.
I have firsthand experience.
And he didn't even
But-
cry. He was like, "Dude, what? Like, why did it do that?" It was so
that was
funny.
like one of my first pets.
Genuinely confused.
Yeah, he was like, "They said they don't bite. What's the problem?"
That was believe it or not, that was my first pet because like
Same.
a leopard gecko, shocker. Beginner reptile, but as a kid, like that just will like fit, but I still have it.
Oh,
And the
that's
thing
the same
turns
one.
Yeah, it turns
Yeah.
19 this month.
That's awesome.
Jeez.
Yeah,
It's
I
nuts.
really don't think about
my
like,
first reptile pet was a Jackson's chameleon that we bought in Maui and brought home on the airplane.
See, I would have loved to have been alive when you could get a chameleon for like $10.
It was not.
I would've-
It was not $10. Their Jacksons are cheaper now than it was when we bought it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Glad I'm
well,
alive
because
right now.
because back then, that was probably. I mean, dude, that was 25 years ago. So I mean,
God, you're old.
they were invasive to Hawaii.
I was one.
Yeah, so they were native to Hawaii, and they were.
Were they
I mean,
native or invasive?
Well, it's invasive, but they
But
had
now they're
established
native,
themselves in
yeah.
Hawaii. So like this was a wild caught Hawaiian Jacksons. And this like street vendor he just had like it was like one of those sliding metal doors, and he just like opened up his shop, and he had a cage with Jackson chameleons in it, and then he had another cage with tamarins. Like
Like
little
the
small
monkeys?
primates.
like
Yep.
the red ones?
Kidding.
Yep. And my mom was like, okay, but I want to say it was like $150 though. And now Jackson chameleons are like $50.
Yeah. I almost
Like
got a
wild
Jackson's.
caught Jacksons.
I almost got a Jackson's, but then I found out that there's no captive red ones and they die within 6 months to a year of having them. So
Alex said Kenyan Sandboa is the choice. Yeah,
I
mean,
agree, but I've never had one, so I can't like actually agree.
I think especially for Well, but see, like I don't know, because I'd recommend the Peter's banded skink, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
I would also not recommend it for the same reason as the sand boa. You're never gonna
Because
see it.
Right. Although with the skinks, you get to like they don't care if you like dig them out and you can. Feed
Oh
them
yeah,
more
you can
often.
literally just like put your hand under there and just like swirl it around until you find them and pull them out, and they're just like, oh hi, like they don't care.
No,
there you are.
if
Yeah,
that
you want to
thing,
talk about a derpy reptile?
if that thing bit me, that would really be like the. I quit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if that thing, I couldn't imagine that thing trying to bite anybody.
The that's what's unfortunate about some of the things I own. I own like a lot of amphibians, and I didn't really realize it, but I really gravitated towards like amphibians and geckos, and that's really what my collection is. But it's what I like, I guess.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a sucker for
Well,
some geckos,
Geckos are awesome.
and now that
I
I gotta
cannot.
start breeding them.
Wide
Yeah.
range of colors, hardy. Adults can live in a 10-gallon. No light needs, just heat. Well, that's most snakes. Most snakes can do fine without light.
But
Oh,
a lot of the
yours-
things I own, I don't see.
You have a sand boa
my
that comes
my
out
yellow
of the
spotted
time.
salamanders, red-eye tree frogs are usually underneath the leaf.
yeah.
My mossy frogs are always like either in the water in the back corner, and I can't see them,
See,
or
I would love to have red-eyed tree frogs. He would never allow me to.
they're pretty cool, man.
I
Not
don't
to
know.
him.
You know, I think at one point I was like, I didn't want dart frogs or tree frogs or anything because I didn't want the calling all the time. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I have crickets chirping down here all the time anyway. Like, I might as well have something that sounds more like a rainforest going
Yeah.
on.
I've really
That-
liked red-eyed tree frogs ever since I was like 5, maybe 6. I
Yeah.
watched an episode of Go Diego Go, all about red-eyed tree frogs, and I was hooked.
You like those? You like those tiger? Those like the,
The
tiger leg
tree frogs I like
The
too.
tiger.
I have one of those.
You have one of
Super
those?
tiger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude,
the
they're
super
super
tiger.
cool. They're cool.
I have a male, so he's literally like the size of this bottle cap. He's like super tiny, maybe like
Okay,
an
so
inch.
now I'm gonna try and be a persuasive 13-year-old. Since you have those tree frogs, how loud is the calling?
So I'll be honest. The tiger monkey, the super tiger monkey leg tree frog, it's just like a little click. Like I think adult crickets are louder. Red-eye
Okay.
tree frogs have a louder call,
Stop being honest.
but it's not like you're owning a parrot.
Ugh.
Right.
So like, and some the calls are pretty cool. So it's like you almost don't mind them. Like I'll fall asleep to them. It's not like obnoxious. Like
I feel like that
non-
about the dart frog ones too. Like with
The
the-
dark
Yeah.
calls are
the-
super cool.
Yeah.
It's not like an American toad where it's just gonna sit there
Oh.
and like sound like someone like my mother screaming at me like without taking a breath. It's, you know.
We've got this big old pond behind us, and there's an established population of them, and it is really loud at night in the summer.
Yeah.
I can bet.
Like, you
We
can
have the
hear it
spring peepers
inside.
and they do not stop. Once March
Yeah.
comes, that's it. You open the door and it's peepers.
We had a giant waxy monkey frog, and it was actually the Philomedusa bicolor. So because there's like the waxy monkey frog, and then there's like the giant one. We actually had like the giant one,
I missed that thing.
and it was awesome to like. It was
Yeah.
awesome to watch. It was awesome, but I mean, we got it. It was already pretty much full grown when we got it. I got it at a convention. And we had it for, I don't know, 6 months or so, and then it died, and I'm assuming it
was old age.
it was just an adult when they grabbed
Yeah.
it. But I would love to get another one, but I can't find them now.
right. 'cause
And they're
like,
kind of expensive
Yeah,
now.
they're
They're really
yeah.
expensive
Well, I mean,
now.
we paid, I mean, I think I paid like $150 for it when I got
yeah,
it.
that would be like
Yeah.
1,100.
They're not that
Maybe not
much.
quite that much.
They're a
The,
couple $100 though, $200-$300, I think.
I mean,
The
but
only
like,
down
I just get normal tree frogs at that point.
Right.
that's always a way to go.
Well, and I don't
The only
think
downside with red eyes is like they're very prone to like skin infection. With
Yeah.
amphibians have as absorbent sensitive skin as it is, but they're more prone to skin infection. So like changing the water every single day is like kind of
Oh,
important.
We do that with Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
we have to do it with Loki because he goes to the bathroom in the water every single day.
I'm actually
It's
surprised
small.
my super tiger monkey like tree frog's alive like to this day because when I bought him like right behind his like his what you would call his neck they don't really have necks but like he has like this brown like it almost looks like a chemical burn or like a chunk taken out of them, and it's like scar tissue, and I didn't know what it was, so that's why I bought them, because I seen that and I was like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I'm gonna try to like give you a better life. But it never really affected him, but he has that. I know my last reptile room tour, I think I like zoomed up in on it, but like I have no idea what it is. And a few phone calls were made and like asked people questions on Instagram, and they're like, "Yeah, I have nothing for you." So it's definitely like an injury of some sort.
That's crazy. That I mean, but that's the thing about, we've talked about it in, I don't know, on streams or videos or whatever, but it's like the amount of research that's done on reptiles as far as like different illnesses or skin conditions or whatever and how to treat them is like so minimal compared to dogs and cats and horses and whatever.
And it's kind of crazy because they've been around for 50 years,
Yeah.
40, 50 years.
And it's even less when you start getting into like tarantulas. Like if there's something wrong with your tarantula, like you can't do anything with it. Like
Yeah.
you can like make sure it has water, try to feed it, and like hope for the best. Like there's not a whole lot you can do.
I know. I have one question. I just remembered my question from before, but I forgot it. But the super tiger monkey like tree frogs, they don't even live that long. They live like 5 years. But my question is, how many species and pets do you guys have in total? Don't you have like, you have like over 50, right?
Yeah, we have 50 just tarantulas.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dream.
we have 50 tarantulas, 16 scorpions,
20.
20 scorpions.
I don't know, somewhere between 16 and 20.
I think we have 16 scorpions because one of them's like a colony of 12.
Yeah.
Paradox, what's up?
12, 13, 15.
But I know
16.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, 16 scorpions, and then that's the bearded dragon, the tortoise, the uromastix, the Peter's banded skink, the lychee, the chameleon, the crested gecko, the pair of Priscina,
And the
and
water,
the water
monitor.
monitor.
And
So
then we've got the roach colonies and the
yeah,
ice
somewhere
pods.
around
Lot.
80 if you don't count the fish tank.
Oh,
I
the
just
fish tank
did,
is technically millions
Yeah.
because of all the
think-
bacteria and pods.
I am at. If you count the tadpoles, I guess you can count them because I'm taking care of them
Yeah.
for now. Until
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna rehome some of them. I'm not gonna keep 20 frogs, not 20, but I have 49, I believe, and it's for an apartment. It's kind of a lot.
That's a lot.
Like
yeah.
some of the tanks are on the kitchen counter.
Well, dude, and honestly, from like watching your channel, I would have never thought like if you had me like guess how many animals you had from watching your channel, I would have said like 20. Like, I mean, just
Yeah.
because it doesn't ever seem. I don't know. If you watch our channel and you see all these tanks in the background, like
Yeah.
you're like, okay,
Yeah.
these dudes. But like, most of them are invertebrates, which like have such easy care requirements. Like, I don't have
Right.
80 reptiles.
We could have,
you know.
we
Yeah.
could have 200 tarantulas, depending on the size, on a shelf.
Yeah, it just depends on,
How
And they
small
all
they
have
are.
the exact same.
It's
care
still a lot
routine.
of work, though. It's just like you only have to do a lot of work like one day a week.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
only thing
Yeah.
we don't have yet is a
No,
snake. I say that all the time, but
The
no,
what?
that's true. The only thing we don't have is a snake.
I know. But
I want
I'm
to
waiting
get
for
a
the
green
snake. Like, I'm like I will eventually I will see the snake and it'll be like the right time. I'll have the money. I'll be like ready to go and I'll be like, that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'm getting.
And I've looked, trust me, I went to 2 reptile conventions. One of them was literally called Show Me Snakes. Like, I'm looking, I'm trying.
That just came to me like last month for the first time like ever.
Yeah,
And it was like
so-
it was like 5 minutes away from the house, and I was like, "What? Like expos never come here.
yeah.
I hope they come back."
Is that the one you did the video on? Was it Show Me Snakes? No.
I did New Hampshire, the New Hampshire Reptile
Yeah, I
Expo,
remember that.
and I
Yeah.
did Show Me Snake.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, so we
But,
went to Show Me Snakes, and then we went to Epic, which was basically Repticon.
It was Repticon,
but
it was, like, double
just
the size.
Huge.
yeah.
It was unfortunate because they had Show Me Snakes the date set, and then I think Tinley was like the same day, so a lot of the vendors opt out last second to go to the more established show.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's kind of unfortunate because Show Me Snakes had like a big outcome, but there was like half the vendors weren't there.
How big was it
So
for you?
Right. I mean,
it was like in a child like in a youth like hockey rink.
Ours was in
a
high
high
school
school cafeteria. And then like the Epic was literally at like a convention center. It was
at,
massive. Dude. It was
I
huge.
forget. It was at like the hockey teams.
No, that's not where it was.
It was in the same area. It was at like it was
Yeah.
like the convention center, and it was owned by the people who own the hockey stadium. It was like
Yeah.
this whole big area.
It was like I'm pretty sure I don't know if it was a basketball. I know they had basketball nets in the ceiling, so I think it was like 2 and 2. But they had hockey banners up too, and they had like the hockey like rink bench style seats
Yeah, yeah,
up
yeah.
top. So I think it was like a 2-in-1 type thing.
Yeah. Well, we've got to start wrapping this up, man. My wife's texting me like dinner.
Of course,
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I keep scheduling these streams at like 6 o'clock on Friday, and she's like, dinner. Like, that's like literally dinner time.
Yeah.
But it's just like an easy time that works for everybody. So, but dude, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I enjoyed having the conversation. I know we talk a lot like through text, like
Yeah.
or Discord or whatever, but like we've never like actually like talked like and had like a conversation like this. So it was
Yeah.
really cool to have you on here and just kind of hear about, because like we both have similar types of channels and whatever, but our collections are so different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is really cool. And I like that about, that's one of my favorite things about this hobby is that you can, like, we can both have 50 animals and they're like just
Yeah.
no overlap except for like the
Yeah.
Persina, I guess. But
But I mean, that's it, because you despise frogs, unfortunately.
I don't
for me.
despise frogs, man.
guess
Hey,
we technically
I
have
know
frogs.
someone who's gonna have dart frog babies for sale soon. So
Dude, we should, we're going to have crested gecko babies for sale soon. We just need to do a little swap.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, dude, enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend, and thanks again for coming on. Everybody, make sure to go check out J&A Exotics on YouTube. I will make sure to put a link to his channel in the description of this video after we end this and it ends up, uploading, and how I know it's like a process. It takes a while for it to like upload and post. But,
Thank you.
I'll go back and I'll put a link in there. He does way better care guides and stuff than we do, like as opposed to us who we just kind of like talk trash. But yeah, if you are interested in like more like detailed care guides about some of the species we talked about today, his channel is gonna be a lot better for you than ours. So I'm just being honest. So it's kind of your thing. It's kind of like what you do. So
Yeah, I like it.
yeah, no, for sure. So, but thank you everybody out there for watching. I appreciate you guys coming
you
and
for
hanging
hanging
out and
out.
chat with us. And we will see you next